When players think about dribbling, they immediately think breaking ankles and juking their opponents without thinking about what it takes to actually get to that much card control and that much raw ability. Being able to slow the game down, take ball control, utilize space, predict opponents, and then accurately flick the ball off the top of your car at a moment's notice takes more time to learn than any other mechanic in this series, which is sort of counterintuitive to the process of learning to dribble. You don't need to be a 1v1 god before you start benefiting from knowing entry-level dribbling skills. Dribbling starts with basics that can be learned and applied as early as Silver 3. This video will cover how to begin your dribbling training, starting with slowing down the game and using traps or catches, then working on your ground dribbles, followed by bounce dribbles, and then finally ramping up to flicks, which will really only be about 10% of what we're going to cover today. Afterwards, we'll discuss dribbling strategy, what works, and what's just a waste of time. Now, most of the dribbling tutorials out there don't really start with an introduction to ball control using traps or catches. Instead, they immediately hop into free play and they tell you to practice balancing the ball on your car and flicking. If those videos were strictly flick tutorials, that'd be great, but dribbling begins way sooner than that. A better place to start is learning to control the ball anywhere on the field. Trapping, aka catching the ball, is an active decision to keep the ball in your possession instead of punting the ball away. It's the first decision you make that tells everyone around you, hey, I've got this, let's set up for an offensive attack, I'll get the ball down there, so be ready. Learning to trap the ball can be done in aerial training. Instead of jumping for the ball, just wait for it to come to you and try to position yourself in a place that will allow you to accept the ball rather than allowing it to rigidly bounce away from your car.
Send it. You don't stop the pass. You accept it. Cradle it. Again, concentration, not strength.
You don't need to start with catching the ball on your car. Start with lightly receiving the ball so it rests right in front of you, making it easier to begin your next play. I like to start by practicing some over-the-shoulder catches. Match the speed of your car with the speed of the ball, position your car just off the center of the ball, and then lightly turn into the ball to cradle it on arrival. Once you get a better feel for this, you can practice achieving the same result without having to drive away from the shot. This will require a softer touch and some more precision, but you'll have a better attack angle once you're in control of the ball. Typically, your next play on the ball, once you've trapped it, will require a little bit of dribbling downfield or maybe even some wall play, so let's hop into ground dribbling. We all began Rocket League with some ground dribbling, so I'm only going to touch on this lightly. Now that you have the ball in your control, your first job is to figure out what's in front of you. Where are your defenders? What's the best course of action? Would it be better to pass instead of taking it yourself? Survey the field, collect as much information as you can, and then take action. Consistency is really key here, and it's worth practicing moving the ball downfield in free play. You might feel a little lame hopping into free play and practicing ground dribbling into a goal at Gold 2, but it's more lame not being able to dribble into an open net in ranked. So get that open goal anxiety under control by practicing on your own time in free play. A lot of your control will come from being able to match the ball speed. Try not to overtake the ball, but don't go so far behind that someone can tackle you without you being able to respond to their challenge. You want to get to a point where you no longer have to watch the ball the whole time, sort of like dribbling a basketball. You shouldn't have to see the ball in order to dribble it. This will give you a chance to see where your opponent is and develop your play based on their location and action. When you're ground dribbling, work on cutting into the ball to abruptly change its direction and start to practice hitting the ball with your corners to pop it or chip it up a bit. That will come into handy with our next skill, which is bounce dribbling. Bounce dribbling is where the fun begins, so just like boomers, you're relying on the game physics to let you pop the ball up after it bounces. The tiny redirection gives the ball a little bit more pop. So you can use this to your advantage by cutting into the ball with a corner in the sides of your car and keeping a consistent bounce forward. The best way to practice this is to start the ball downfield, overtake it, and then turn into position. Pop the ball up and then begin bounce dribbling with your corners. Matching the speed of the ball helps a lot here. Don't go faster than you're capable, and be sure to swing out far enough that you can plan your touches a little better. When you're in position, take a really big swing out and get plenty of speed for a boomer shot on goal. The same concept will apply here, just dodge into the ball as hard as you can right after it bounces. Okay, so on to the big show, getting the ball up on top of your car and flicking. There are no shortcuts here. The old way of practicing is starting in free play, getting your ball in your car, and then restarting free play once the ball falls off. Reason being, the ball's first spawn on the map puts it just a little off the ground, making it a little bit easier to pop the ball up onto your hood. You need to learn how to get the ball on your car on your own, so no training wheels here. Hop into free play and get the ball rolling forward and cut into the ball so it rests on top of your car. You can drive straight into it and pick up speed, or you can use the corner of your car. Either way, once it's on there, try to keep the ball on top of your car for as long as you can. I started out by paying close attention to the circle on the floor instead of the ball. The closer to the center of that circle you are, the better. And again, matching to the speed of the ball is really important here. Be sure to use a combination of tapping, boost, and braking, as well as accelerating and coasting. Find that happy speed that keeps your ball on top of your car. You'll notice as the ball falls to the hood of your car, you'll need to speed up to center it again. Similarly, as the ball reaches your spoiler, you'll need to slow down to coax it back onto your roof. You're going to need to make these adjustments fast. If you slowly increase speed while the ball is rolling to the hood of your car, it will just catch the front corner of your hitbox and you'll just chase it as it falls off. There are different locations on top of your car that are better for different types of flicks, but today we're going to just detail one flick, which is the diagonal flip. Most players are going to start by flicking with a forward dodge. They center the car, they center the ball, and then they flip forward. The trouble is that this flick isn't very effective. It doesn't give the ball a lot of height or speed, and it's fairly predictable. Also, you have to pretty much be dead center for the flick to work. What we really want is a more forgiving flick that has a lot of pop so we can get over our defender or make it really hard for a goalie to deflect. For that, we're going to use a diagonal dodge. Same scenario, center the ball, center the car, but you're going to flick diagonally. Notice how the ball doesn't go dead straight. This puts your spoiler or tail up a little higher, giving your shot a little more loft. Another flick would be a side dodge flick, which may help you when you're just a bit off center of goal. You'll need to make sure the ball is sliding off your roof to the left or the right before attempting a side dodge, otherwise it's just going to pop straight up. As for your timing and your strategy, I want you to practice flicking very early in your dribbling. Waiting too long to center the ball in your car only gives your opponent more time to dive in or set up, and you have to remember the objective isn't to score the goal with a flick, it's to beat your defender. If you're playing ones, you'll have plenty of time to flick the ball over your enemy and then follow up for a score afterwards. So why not practice all different kinds of flicks, and why not become some dribbling god? Isn't ball possession better than clearing? Well, in some situations, yes, possession is better. For example, you'll always want to have as much control as possible in 1v1. And you do need to keep your defense guessing in ones. So if ones is your main, you may want to work on different types of flicks from different angles so you can attack with more options. However, things naturally get more chaotic when you add more players to the field. A typical strategy to defend against dribbling in duos is to tackle early, which forces them to flick early, which is way easier for a second defender to clean up afterwards. Likewise, adding a third defender means an even less likely chance to make it to the goal. When you're dribbling, you really only have one good chance to beat one defender. Beating a second good defender is unlikely. I'd go so far as to say, besides quickly getting the ball on your car and flicking towards the goal right away, you could opt out of learning any other fancy dribbling skills or flicks and make it to champ in duos or standard just fine. I think the best proof of this and high ranks would be RLCS LAN in Vegas. I watched most of Saturday and every game on Sunday. Plenty of players were quickly getting the ball in their car and they were flicking it downfield, but there's only one goal that comes to mind that was the result of a complete downfield dribble, and that came from Gimmick in the finals. Remember, the main focus isn't the flashy ankle-breaking plays, it's the ability to take the pace of the game into your own hands and control the ball while moving it downfield. So to recap, survey the field and decide a dribble, then get the ball on top of your car, and then flick quickly before a player decides to tackle you. These shots do not have to be pretty, they just need to beat one defender. That's it for an intro to dribbling, guys. I really do love all the other more advanced flicks out there, and it's really fun to watch when pros pull it off. It's too bad that the time they take to learn just isn't worth the investment from bronze to plat play. Let me know all your dribbling progress, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. And hey, did you know that I have a Twitter account? This is the first time I think I've actually mentioned it, and I finally made some neat graphics to promote that in the videos. Either way that you decide to discuss it with me, I'll always do my best to reply to everyone, and as always, the more we talk about Rocket League, the better we all get, guys. Cheers.